Hello, my name is Lucas Olson, and I would like to thank you for listening to episode 1 of the Awakening Tapes. Now, what is the Awakening Tapes? Well, that is the adventure that I want to bring you with. It's a journey of healing, self awareness, growth, and to dive into the paranormal and spirituality. Now, some people might not believe in spirituality, might not believe in the paranormal, but the things I've seen, the things I've witnessed, I see it now. I used to be a diehard Catholic, baptized, went to church, and then I had my awakening. I woke up laying on the ground, middle of the night, and alone by myself, and probably one of the worst parts of my life. And along the journey that I've had since then, I'm now happier than I've ever been in my entire life. And because of the friends I've made and the things that I've learned, I thought that I would create this podcast. This episode here is created without a script. This is all coming off of my head. It's been a journey. It's been a while. I had to figure out how to record and figure out what I was going to do, because I wanted to get something out here. I wanted to get things out of my head and share it with others. But I think I'm going to start by talking about TikTok. Now, I never thought that I would go onto that app. I thought it was kind of silly, so I stayed away from it. But it wasn't until I was very alone and there wasn't much I could do while I laid in the dark room, trying to heal from an injury, from that fall, from when I woke up and got off the street. I've experienced something that was really hard for me to comprehend. It was like a dream, but I still remember it. It was a trauma. It was something that I was not supposed to see, but I did. And that was the other side of everything. I slipped on ice, and I fell right onto my head, laid out cold. And at first I thought what I was seeing was heaven, until I looked underneath the veil, and I saw everything dark. It was the heaven, the truth of it all, where there's beings that was hard to explain, and what I've done could change the outcome of that. But I digress. I will save that story for a later podcast episode because I wanted to dive into TikTok. As we know, TikTok was banned in the US, and then it was saved by President Donald Trump with his executive order in writing saying that he promises to extend it for a few more days to get the thing sorted out so we can keep it. But the night it was pulled off the cell phones, the night the servers closed down in the US, caused a lot of heart shakes, aches, and pains for a lot of people. It was traumatizing to watch. I've even found myself picking up the cell phone and checking to see if I can get back on. People said that they went to sleep and hoped that they woke up it would be a bad dream, because what they found in TikTok is a community, a safe space, friends, family, people who supported them, kindness, the things we wish we've always seen in reality. It created trauma that we'll have to heal from. And leading up to TikTok, I never thought I would go onto that app. I was swiping through Facebook, and I got banned on Facebook for something posted, some comment or whatever posted, and it was posted like 3 years prior. So I went, enough of that, went to Twitter, and then from Twitter kind of got bored because it just felt like the same thing over and over and over again. So I went to Instagram, and funny enough, I got banned there. Copyright. I had music playing in the background. That brought me to Twitter. Not Twitter, but TikTok. And on TikTok, I met some real nice people. And I stayed around. And I learned I couldn't go live with them, say hello, see them face to face like everybody else. So I started making content, and people liked it. It was weird. People don't usually like my content, but they did. And I got followers. And before I knew it, I had enough followers to go live myself. And I made more friends. I built a community. And I myself became very addicted to that app. It helped me learn about mental health. And it helped me realize that what I went through when I fell that night, hit my head, was a normal thing. People have gone there. People have seen what I've seen. And they call that spirituality, people that's been there and back. It's the people that's been through hell and back. And I'm not saying where I was hell, but I was there at the lowest spot in my life. See, what we do on this world affects the next. You want to make it your heaven, or you want to make it your hell? It's all up to you, your choice, your free will. And that is why I'm making this podcast, to try to get it out there that we should just choose to do better, to be better, to find gratitude and love within ourselves, to become love, essentially. We need to treat others with kindness. We need to stop with the drama. We need to stop with the hate. Put that all aside, and come together, because we're not promised tomorrow, but we will have an eternity in the next. So take it with a grain of salt. I've made a lot of friends on TikTok, and I promised all of them that I will give them a call out, because it became their source of income. It became their place of business, where they can build a community and do work and, grow themselves. Oops. Drop something. I'm not going to edit that out, but what I want to do is give a little explanation about the tarot cards, because most of my friends, their businesses revolve around guidance. And tarot, that's not really fortune telling. Somebody's pulling your card out and reading your future. They are not serving you. They're serving themselves. They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. And you should listen to somebody that's willing to spend the time and sit there and tell you what they see that will guide you to your authenticity. The tarot cards are a tool, just like a pendulum, just like a book, just like runes, or the junk in your junk drawer. They're all tools. They help guide the reader to explain or to articulate what they're seeing. It might not always make sense to you, but it's how they articulate it is what they're trying to give to you. But eventually, I've watched it all just finally come together. Like, they sit there and they push and push and push, and then all of a sudden it just clicks. Like, oh. Again, with the tarot cards, you take it with a grain of salt. We all have free will. And that free will is our choice. It's why, we can never explain a real true timeline. They said this and then I didn't do that. Well, you probably didn't do that because they said this and you sat around and waited for it when there should have been work to be done. Because, if somebody said that you're going to get your wishes come true, there's still work to be done. Those wishes will not come true without the work. And that is like creating a goal, setting a goal for yourself and working towards it, Or you might start something new and find your purpose. And that's why I'm doing this. A pendulum will swing according to the reader. They have their own different ways of reading a pendulum. I like to ask mine to swing back and forth, like towards me, to say yes. And then I like to ask it to go left and right to say no. And then I like to ask it to go counterclockwise for I don't know. And the thing is you gotta hold that pendulum steady in your hand. You can't move your arm, shake your arm around. But you'll feel it, the energy on your hand when you hold it. You'll feel it. It's kind of the same with your body. Like your body is a magnet, and you can feel that pulling back and forth for yes or left, right for no. It depends on the reader, but that's how I like to do it. And then you got runes, which are little stones with symbols on it. And the reader will pick a few runes, and each rune has a symbol. And they each have different meanings, and I can go through each of those meanings later on a different episode. Then you got your bones, and you got your junk drawer. You got different ways a reader can, or a spiritual, person, whatever you want to call it, your guidance advisor, can present what they see to you. These tools help the reader to read your energy and look at where things are going. At this point, I kind of wish I'd created myself a little script, because I'm just going off my head at this point. I wanted to see where I can go with this first episode here if I went without a script. So hopefully you bear with me and you listen to episode 2. But anyways, I want to pull out one tarot card for us to look at for understanding tarot. So today I pulled out the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords has an air element, and it's also an Aquarius card. And we can go through the Aquarius and elements later, but just going through these cards here. If I were to drop a card and it landed on its side, I would think of it as something like responsibility or harmony, alignment, healing, and empathy. If it were to drop right side up, I would think of it as a transition, an exit, moving beyond, problem solving, a journey, deeper thinking, and research. And if I were to drop it upside down, I would think stuck, stalemate, unwanted, proposal, accepted, offers, and lack of empathy. And the little quote I got from this card in this deck says, move from problems, be mindful be mindful what you take. There's a Roman numeral number 6. There's a 6 on the card. And when you look at the 6 of Swords, you see 6 swords stabbed right into the boat in front of somebody with a cloak on. And then you got somebody standing up, kind of driving the boat, kind of pedaling the boat with 6 of Swords in front of it. The boat does not appear to be sinking. It appears to still be floating, making progress, moving forward. So, but I kind of feel like having all them swords stuck in a boat like that could be some sort of a problem. In the background, you see land, but you also see like where the land ends, and then on the other side you see more land with trees, little trees in the background. It could mean that they're going from one place to another, which explains the transitioning, which explains the exiting, which explains the journey. And rowing a boat, I don't know if you've ever done it before, but that's like, to me, a form of meditation. And meditation, we should cover another episode on that. But that constant, repetitive rowing of that boat, that's meditation. You're breathing, you're rowing. The waters appear to be calm, but you don't know what's beyond that card because they're going off, but they're just going. And that's where I see that there's deeper thinking in there. It's where I see that there's problem solving in there. So I think that is a good card. I don't know. So I suggest that you pull out your journal and you write what you think I described of these 6 of Swords. today I have with me an oracle deck, and I'm going to grab one that I dropped on accident. And this one is a moon oracle. The card is Waning Moon. What do you need to release? What do you need to release? And it has like a wintry, snowy landscape with a waning moon in the sky, just bright enough to light everything up. You can see the snowflakes falling and everything. It does look cold, but it also looks warm in a way. It looks comfortable, it looks magical. So I think this card might be meaning that we need to release something in order to allow something better, something else, something that can serve us in. So I say that we should probably think about what doesn't serve us anymore for the better. Release that so that we can replace it with something that can serve us a little better. So, and this part of my show, I would like to drop another TikTok creator's name out there with the name Illuminae. I think that what I'm going to do is when I release an episode, it's going to be episode 1, or episode 2, and episode 3 is going to have my call out for the creators out there to try to bring people in. Now, Illuminae is very blunt. She's going to tell you how she sees it. I've been a really good friend of hers for a while, and I trust her instincts. I trust her guidance, and I can see that she's very connected with spirit. She's also hilarious, and a really good person. So if you have the TikTok app, I strongly encourage you to go and follow her. It's Illuminae. And she also has a Facebook and YouTube channel. And I think that's about it for this first episode. Now I'm gonna add a song at the beginning of this podcast that I heard all the time on my FYP when Twitter was first, around before the huge meltdown collapse of the servers because of our government's need to control the narrative. I am going to include that in the background at the beginning part of the show. And I'm also probably going to try to play it towards the end. So I hope that I can get this to upload somewhere and be consistently adding new episodes, diving deeper into spirituality, into the paranormal, and into our personal growth. And again, I appreciate everybody that's listened, giving me their feedbacks, and thank you for listening to the Awakening Tapes. I hope to see you next week.